Hello viewers, Super GT here. So we find ourselves at the end of 2017. Last year I did, it was a top 10 video of like the best moments. But I kind of left it a bit late this year, so I didn't really know what to do. So I thought I'd just talk about the year basically. Now I've got a really big list of things I want to talk about. And I'm just going to go through it all. It's not going to be too structured. I'll try and put some timestamps in the description just in case you want to skip to certain subjects. But yeah, I'm just going to ramble on really about things that have happened this year. First thing let's talk about is just the YouTube channel in general. It's by far the best year I've had on YouTube. I started in 2011. Now just over 60, nearly on 62k as I'm making this right now. So it's been really quick recently. I'd say since Forza 7 GT Sport have come out, that's when it's got really quick, the growth. And obviously I'm so thankful for that. I think we had 50k, we had 50k on November the 12th, and then 60k about December 18th, 19th. So about 5 weeks, or about 5.5 weeks I think it was, and we've gone from 50 to 60, so 10k in just over a month, which is obviously really good. I can't remember what I started the year on. I think it's about maybe 30. So we've doubled our count, I think. So hopefully 2018, my main aim, I think, in terms of sub counts or whatever, would be to get the 100k and then get the play button sent. That would be really cool, I think. That would be the main aim. So I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's watched any video or liked a video, especially, of course, people have donated on the live streams as well. So I see many names over and over again in the comment section. It's always good to see that. And I think now we're getting around about 20,000 views per video, which is really good. From before Forza 7 came out, when I was making just Forza 6 videos, it was normally around about 6,000-7,000. So there's been quite a massive jump since then, which is really good to see. It's just good because I put in a lot of time. It's not always easy to see when you're just watching the final product, the video, a 15-minute video. It's hard to see how much effort you have to put in, but there's a lot of time to record. There's a lot of time sorting it all out on your computer, all the files, getting rid of what isn't good enough, thinking about which part of the video to include, editing all of it, commentating, editing again, make sure it's fine, thumbnail, got to sort out, the description, upload the video, schedule it. It adds up. It's quite a lot of time, but with the support or with the views I'm getting, I think it's really worth it. And it's really rewarding to do at the moment. I think one of the best things I did this year was the live streaming. I think a lot of you like the live streams, and I'm happy about that. I started, I think it was in about March, and it's been something that I think has increased the engagement, because normally you just make a video. I see a lot of the YouTubers that make a video and then that's it. There's nothing else. They don't even answer some of the comments a lot of the time. So I try to answer the comments, but then also doing it live, I think it's better because at least you're kind of having a live conversation rather than I'm replying to a comment and then a couple of hours later you might reply. So it's a bit better in that sense. And of course you have the open lobbies so people can actually race against me live, so you can talk and you can race, which is good. It adds another dimension. Also, of course, the donations which I just mentioned. I'm just going to go through a couple of names here. Top donations of the year. We've got Ace Dust with £60, which is really big. Anonymous, £38. I don't know who it was, of course, but they donated during the 50 laps of Nürburgring. £38, yeah, amazing. Rot MM donated £30 twice in the space of 10 minutes. That was on the 243 laps, so of course massive thanks. Wolfiekins with a £30 donation. I think he's donated a few others as well, so more than 30 overall. Doug Burbridge, £26, and a Norbert Blackcat with a 25, and also many other smaller donations as well. Other names I'll just shout out: Melodics, Tahar Siddiqui, Citizen Jack 2012, Kurtzan Marton. I really struggle with your name. Sorry. I should know this Hungarian names better, but I struggle. Nick Cook, 85. Dean Postings, Don Pedro, Camel, Trazic, Super Arthur, Evil Black Cat, HG504. But there's so many people that donated, and obviously massive thanks to all of you. The first set of donations I got, I bought new RAM. I upgraded the RAM on my computer, so I had 8GB before, and I went up to 16. I've currently got a few £100 sitting in my PayPal account, and from donations, I'm just waiting to buy a processor. So all these donations, they just go to improving everything I've got here. I don't just go down the pub and buy a pint with it. I'm going to spend it on improving the setup or the games I have or whatever. But in this case, it's going to be improving the PC. The main reason is just so that I can process videos quicker. It is annoying having to wait quite a long time for a video to render. That's the main thing I want to cut down on, the render time. So that's why I'm going to be getting a better processor with that money, and a bit of my own money as well throw in there. So that will coming soon, hopefully, probably in January or February. I'll buy that. And yeah, massive thanks to all the donators, anyone who's donated, even if it's the smallest amount, it all adds up. So it's really good to see that. And on the subject of live streams, from February onwards, I'll hopefully be able to do a lot more. January would be really hard for me, but February onwards, it should be a lot easier. I'm going to definitely do a Gran Turismo Sport live stream open lobby. That's what everyone's waiting for. Just that open lobby on Gran Turismo Sport. So that's going to happen. Don't worry about that. And from February onwards, I should be able to do a lot more. I've tried always to do one a week. Hasn't always happened, but most of the time it has. Hopefully in the future, more than one a week. We shall see though. I can't confirm anything for sure. We just have to wait and see. Later on in this video, I'm going to go through like some best moments of the year, some funny moments or whatever. But that will be a bit later. First thing here, frequently asked questions. I get a lot of the same questions over and over and over again. Most common question, which I get pretty much every day: do you use a controller or a wheel? On Gran Turismo Sport, on Forza, I always use a controller, always. If it's like Project Cars, which I haven't made many videos on, Assetto Corsa, iRacing, that'll be on the wheel. I'll show you my setup in just a moment, the whole setup. Why don't you play this game or that game? I really like Gran Turismo Sport and Forza 7. I just like being able to turn on the console and just play them really easily. They're very accessible, those games, and I enjoy making the videos on those the most. So that's why I stick to them. Project Cars 2, I haven't played it as much as maybe you would have liked, or maybe I would have liked, but I just don't quite get on with the handling on that game. I find it really, I don't know, it's just not quite as good as I would like. Sometimes I play that game, and then immediately I go and play Assetto Corsa on the PC, and it's just so much better. I think when I want to play on the wheel, I really want the best experience, and the best experience isn't Project Cars 2, it's Assetto Corsa or iRacing. I don't always make videos on those games, of course, but I just like to play the really good experience, and Assetto Corsa, it just feels amazing on the wheel. But the next question, what assists do you use? So Forza 7, traction control off, ABS off, stability off, manual with clutch, but then sometimes, and also normal steering. But sometimes you will change the settings a little bit. So sometimes I just use manual, depending on the car, and sometimes traction control on in very high-powered cars, which will be quicker overall. So those are the main settings. On GT Sport, TCS kind of varies. It can be 0, can be 1, can be 2, sometimes 3 in really quirky cars, but most of the time 0, 1 or 2. It kind of changes all the time. ABS, I think I have it on, there's an on, off, and there's like a medium setting, or like a weak setting. I think I have it on that now. I'm trying to slowly learn to use it off. I'm not quite as good on the PlayStation controller as I am on the Xbox One, so still learning on that. And another question that comes up a lot is, why do you use the chase cam? That one comes up a lot. I think the main thing really is you have to use whatever view you feel comfortable with. A common misconception, I think, really is that you should use cockpit view because you should always seek the most realistic experience. But you know what? I don't really agree with that, because I think if I want a realistic experience, I wouldn't be playing Forza or GT Sport. I'll be playing Assetto Corsa or iRacing or R Factor 2, and I would play those games in cockpit view with the wheel. But on Forza GT Sport, I just play whichever view is fastest and most comfortable, and in both cases it's the chase cam. It's just what I'm used to using. You go to Forza RC. I went to Le Mans earlier this year. We'll talk about this as well. And I'd say about 80% of the guys there, who are the fastest guys on Forza, were using chase cam. So it's not like I'm an anomaly. I think most of the quick guys do use chase cam and a controller on Forza. That's just the way it is. Yeah, it's not realistic, but you know, when I'm playing the game, I want to be fast. I just play whatever is most comfortable for me, and that happens to be the chase cam and a controller. So I'm just going to give you a quick look at the setup. So maybe you're wondering what I'm playing with. I forget to mention that I have a new set of Corsair headphones in the setup, but here we go. I'll just show you everything now. So here's a quick look at the whole setup. Sorry about the light, it's actually quite bad at the moment, but we're just going to have a look at the PC first then. So the specs I've listed in most of my descriptions, so you can see those. I'm not going to name them all now. We have the Xbox One X there, PlayStation 4, so both consoles. It's not a Pro, just a normal PlayStation 4. And then we have, you see the three screens. The screen on the left here is for the consoles. I don't know why it's pink, it should be red. There we go, yeah. And down here we have the Elgato HD60, so that's what I use to record. And then this is the microphone I use, so the Samsung. You see there, Samsung. There we go, Samsung Meteor. Pretty decent mic. Keyboard, CM Storm, and the mouse. Two monitors for the PC. And then they're not perfectly together there, but you can see that I've soundproofed this corner. It's really hard to get all of them to line up, but yeah, that does improve the sound quality a bit. Then the chair I use is this, so the GTA Maker Racing. Really comfortable, really good to use that. I've got another one here, an older one, so I've actually got two of those. Then as for the wheel, here we go. So it is, the base is the Thrustmaster TX, so this part here, and then you have the 599XX Alcantara rim with the TH8A shifter attached to the side, with the Wheel Stand Pro, which is this big bar which attaches everything. And then down here we have the, again, Thrustmaster, the T3PA Pro pedals, so you can invert those to change them the other way around, which is pretty useful. And then just over here we have the F1, the Ferrari F1 wheel, so the attachment which you can change over with, of course, the other the wheel here. But this one I really like, the Alcantara rim, really nice surface to it. Really enjoy using that. But yeah, that's just a very quick look at the setup that I use. So that's the setup. I'm really pleased with that setup, actually. Taken quite a long time to get that, but of course, as I said, with the donations improving the PC, which is just over to my left hand side here, really pleased to get the console, the Xbox One X. I mean, I got that sent by Microsoft, Xbox UK, so I couldn't be more thankful for that. That's a really good gift, and I really do like the console. It's a really good console. The thing I want to talk about now is the travel opportunities I've had this year. I've gone to loads of places. I've been really lucky, based on YouTube, just purely because I do this channel. It's been recognised by big names, big people, and thankfully they've sent me to a couple of places. Not all of these places were because of YouTube. I'll go through them. The first one was New York. Went here in April. This was the Forza RC Invitational. So after season 1 and 2, they did an Invitational before the third season at Le Mans. So going to New York, obviously, is a really good experience. Going to the States, I haven't been to America in a while, in a long time, and obviously New York's an amazing city. Got to meet a load of the drivers or the players on Forza, a lot of the Turn 10 team, a lot of the Microsoft people. So it was really good experience to meet everyone, to go to an amazing city, meet a lot of other YouTubers as well. Slap Train, Tomcat, AR12, Alan, Nick wasn't there, but yeah, a couple of the big names there in YouTube. So it was really good. Overall experience, amazing, and getting sent to New York for free, you can't complain about that really at all. That was absolutely brilliant. The next one was Le Mans. So Forza RC Season 3 was hosted at the Le Mans 24 Hour during the event itself. So there's 66 of us in total went there. So again, just like New York, but on a bigger scale, a lot of the best drivers. And I think I did really well. I was really pleased with my overall performance. So I was racing this time. In New York, I wasn't racing. I was just as a YouTuber. At Le Mans, I was actually racing myself. Got through to the finals, or the semi-final, and finished 18th overall. So I think when it came down to really showing your pace when it mattered, I think I performed pretty well. Finished 18th in the end. Sometimes when you see me in a lobby, I don't race that well. But when you know the track, when you know the car, I think I can race quite well in a live pressure situation. I think I can do that pretty well, and I think I did. I mixed it fairly well with the best, which I was really pleased about. One of the races I actually led for a couple of laps. Might have finished third, was punted off. It's at Nürburgring. I don't know if you've seen that. I'll try and put a link in the description to the whole stream so you can watch it. It was a very long evening that. We raced for about 7-8 hours into the night. They really did test us in terms of endurance. So that was a testing event. But to come through in 18th, I think that was really good. And of course, watching the Le Mans 24 Hour as well. I didn't see too much of the race. I was too busy playing the game. But just to be there at that event, it was amazing. We got to see myself and Tatey. You might know Tatey. We had a look down at the podium. We ran down there, had a look, walked up and down the track, the pit lane. Yeah, so overall, really cool experience. Really enjoyed it. So getting to see some real racing whilst racing on the game yourself. And yeah, good people and a great event. Really enjoyed it. Next one, this was quite a cool event. It was just a one-day event. F1 Live in London in July, middle of July. This was just before the Silverstone Grand Prix, I believe. And yeah, it was an interesting run. A lot of alcohol involved. I was mixing it with the big dogs really because they gave us VIP passes, and I mean I got a photo with Chase Carey, the CEO is it of Liberty Media. He's high up in Liberty Media, or owns it, and yeah, proper big dogs. We were mixing it. Really good experience. Really good day. Lots of live music. See the drivers, walk down the pit lane, see all the cars as well. So overall, that was a really good day. Really enjoyed it. And of course, that was just all down to YouTube. They just Xbox UK invited me once again. So they've invited me to so many events this year, and it's been an amazing year. So in that respect, yeah, absolutely love it. Next event, this was end of June. So actually, it was just before the Live London. But this wasn't a YouTube event. It was just something that I did with my brother and my girlfriend. We went to Brands Hatch. So the racing circuit in Kent, in England, and I did the Formula 4 experience. It was so fun. First off, we drove a BMW M4, so you learn the track a bit. You go around with an instructor. He tells you. Maybe you saw my live stream the other day, and the instructor was good. He taught me, but he was just grabbing the wheel every 2 seconds, and it was so frustrating. I'm trying to drive, and he's like, "No, just do this. Just let me drive. It's my experience. I paid for it." So it was a really good experience at the M4. That thing can go so quick. I was reaching about 125 on the main straight at Brands Hatch. That is seriously fast. It's quite scary actually when you stamp on the brakes and the car really does dig into the ground. That was really cool. And then we drove the Formula 4 car, so a little single-seater race car, just has so much grip. It's a bit slow in a straight line compared to the BMW, but around corners it's just absolutely unreal. You can go through Paddock Hill Bend, so the first corner at Brands Hatch. It goes around there flat out. You don't have to brake. You don't have to lift off. It just goes round. It's really scary because it's a blind corner. I wish I could have recorded it. I couldn't, unfortunately. It's a blind corner as you go in because you're so low down you can't see over it. And then, wow, it's just a massive plunge, just like a roller coaster. It was so amazing. You're going through there about 100 miles an hour. Scary stuff, but really fun, and I'd love to do that again. And if anyone lives close by or close enough to one of these tracks, just give it a go. It's so good. So the next event, I'm going to talk about Goodwood Festival. So this was a cool little event, at the start of July I think it was. So again, just before the F1 Live event. Around about June and July I was doing something every week or so, which was really good. This is interesting actually because I was just walking down one of the pathways in Goodwood, and someone just walking the other way goes, "Hey, you're Super GT." So this was my first ever like real life fan recognition, where someone just picked me out of the crowd and went, "Oh, I know you from YouTube." So that was interesting. That was a funny moment. Goodwood Festival, so many fast cars. It was good. I saw Lage down there as well. Saw AR12 Alan down there. He's not a part of AR12 anymore, but Alan Walsh, saw him down there. Yeah, that was a really cool day going down there. It was a nice weather. There was an air display as well. See all the fast cars. Yeah, can't complain about that. And again, thank you to Xbox UK for that. And then one of the later events in the year, the Porsche Experience. You may have seen the video. That was about 2 months ago. Early October, I think I did it, but then the video was out in November. So going down to Silverstone, driving a couple of Porsches. I mean, that's really cool. Meeting a lot of influencers within the community. So not just YouTube, a lot of YouTubers, but other people, a lot of drivers. Saw, I think it was Dino Zamparelli was down there. He was one of the Porsche drivers. He races Porsches, so it was good to see him down there. It was just a really cool day. Actually, we saw Robert Kubica. He was testing a Williams on the actual track. We were just on the side Porsche Experience track. But yeah, really cool day. Being able to drive a couple of Porsches, push them to the limit. They weren't scared to let you just go for it. And there was a couple of little set pieces, if you like. So there was like a skid pan. So you drive over this rotating or spinning road, and then it'll spin your car, and you have to control it on a piece of tarmac that's got loads of water on it. So you're going to slide. It was good fun. There was also the ice road going downhill, and you have to slide the car. And there's like a runway where you test the launch control. Oh my god, those cars are so quick. I didn't expect them to be that fast. And then luckily enough, managed to get a ride in a GT3 RS. So that was really, really fast. The guy around that, he was just dancing it around the corners. Like he wasn't driving it with grip. He was sliding it. It was just drifting so fast. It was really good fun. And again, massive thanks to Xbox UK. Great opportunity. Really good fun. Couldn't ask for more really. That just more of that stuff. Hopefully in 2018, that's all I can hope for. And we're getting through there slowly. I mean, there's so much to talk about. Something unrelated to Xbox was a karting event I did in Shennington. So I won it as a prize. We drove. I drove easy kart at track in Shennington. Really good day. Or weekend actually. I was there for 2 days driving the kart, and these karts are so fast. I couldn't record it again, unfortunately, but really good fun to drive. Really fast, really fast. And in the end, I was 0.3 seconds off of the lead. So in these karts I've never driven, and a track I've never been to, I think I did quite good. Finished 4th. It was that close. There was 4 of us over the line, nose to tail. It was so close. But overall, really enjoyed that weekend. There's been a couple of good karting events. I mean, I still did the Club 100 Championship. I finished 3rd this year. It wasn't the best year. I started off well, but then kind of faded away in the middle of the season. But there were good moments. And again, just enjoyed it. Karting was really good. Lots of karting or racing related stuff I did this year. Something to do with gaming or racing on a game, or like the Goodwood Festival, F1 Live in London, Brands Hatch, all motorsport or racing related. So 2017, it's been an amazing year. the best one on YouTube. Mainly, and massive part of it, should I say, is because of these experiences I've had, and hopefully we get more of that in 2018. One more event actually was the Xbox preview event. So in September the 1st, went down to London, played Forza Motorsport 7 early. That was good. Also there was so many games there. It wasn't just Forza, it was just everything that Microsoft do. So I can go around and play loads of different games. Saw the Xbox One X close up. That's the first time I saw it. Played on it as well. So so not quite related to travel, but some really nice gifts from Xbox. The Xbox One S earlier in the year got sent in about May, and the Xbox One X in late October, so just before it's released in early November, got sent in late October. So, again, I'm running out of things to say, but thank you for those. That's really good. Now, right, I'm going through this list. It's a really long list, but maybe just to talk about all the games I've played this year. Just a quick review, because maybe you want to know my thoughts on all these games. Just like a really quick review. I want to do a longer video on Forza 7, like what my total thoughts are on it. But I'll quickly go through now. So Forza 7, obviously plagued by issues at launch. Lots of issues with it. Some of the direction changes they've made, I don't always agree with. Things like it just seems to be creeping towards Horizon in some respects, which I don't like. But the thing about it, the base physics and the base graphics, if you just focus on those, I think that both are very good. So that's what the game has got going for it. That's what keeps me coming back. I kind of just forget about the car collection, forget about the crap cars that shouldn't be in the game, forget about the SUVs. I'll just race the cars that I want to race, and I have fun racing in GT cars, S-Class cars, R-Class cars, whatever. So, yes, there's a lot of rubbish stuff, and there are lots of problems with it, which hopefully will get fixed. But if you kind of forget about that and just play what you enjoy, then it is good. Of course, that hasn't always been the case. You can't always just play it, because there have been so many issues where black screen of death, or the race would start without you. That has seemed to have been sorted out now. And of course, we also had leagues weren't there, auction house wasn't there, spectate isn't there still, the manual grid ordering isn't there. So a lot of these updates they bought in Forza 6 they didn't bring back to 7, which is frustrating. I basically think that this game has a potential to be 9 out of 10 once they've sorted everything out. It's just a shame that it hasn't been like that since launch. It should. I don't like this approach these days where everything is kind of rushed out and then it's fixed afterwards after launch. It should be perfect, or not perfect, but it should be acceptable to begin with, and then make it a bit better. But it shouldn't be broken mess and then we'll just fix it later, because it's still, it's the end of December now, it's the end of the year, the game's been out 3 months and there's still issues. That is too long. It should only be a matter of days if there's something wrong with it. But still, overall, Forza 7 is probably my favourite game. I still love playing it, and hopefully they continue to improve, making improvements on it. We should hopefully see Forza RC 2018. I'm really looking forward to that. That's the main thing I'm looking forward to in the game. Forza RC, competing on the highest level against the best drivers. That's going to be the best thing. So next up, GT Sport. I think the best thing I might have done this year is buy a PlayStation 4. Nothing against Xbox, it's just I love playing Gran Turismo. It's really good to play it again after so many years not playing Gran Turismo. I didn't play 5 or 6, so getting back onto Sport, it was really good. I've really enjoyed the game. I'd say the main issues with it are the lack of overall content, so the lack of cars and tracks and single player, but the overall racing quality is typically better than it is in Forza. So I'd say your average race on GT Sport is cleaner than it is on Forza. That's a definite. So I really enjoyed the racing on it. Some of the balancing wasn't right. So the Megane was OP for so long. I still haven't driven it since the update, but but at least they're constantly updating the game. That's good at least, and they are quite communicative. They do let you know what they're doing, which is good. That hasn't always been the case with Microsoft or Turn 10. It's not always easy to get communication from them, unfortunately. One problem with GT Sport, the penalty system. It is good in many ways. It does work a lot of the time, but it's not perfect. I think there's an easy way to get around it. You can punt someone from behind in a braking zone and get nothing. That has happened a lot, and it just seems to be something that it's just a blatant loophole in the system where you can just go into a corner behind someone, they brake as they should going into a corner, and then you don't brake, murder them, and then you just get away scot-free. So there are problems with it. There are problems with that for sure, but hopefully that gets sorted out, because that could be game breaking. The thing I've noticed with any game, if there's a system, there's a penalty system or something, people will work out how do you get around it, how can you escape the penalty. Another one you can do, you go alongside someone on the inside going through a corner, you can just turn and just push them out, and the game kind of doesn't really recognise that as contact. So there are ways around it, which isn't good, but overall most people are okay on that game. They're not too dirty, so a lot of the racing is very good. So GT Sport, really pleased to have bought it. Probably the best thing I did all year was to buy that. I think that has really helped the channel, really helped the channel, because since that game came out, since Forza came out as well, it's hard to say exactly what it was that has helped the rise of the channel in recent months, but I think GT Sport is a really big part of that. Project Cars 2, I spoke about it earlier. I think I really love their ambition. I really love everything that they've done, or they've tried to do in the game, put so many features in. I can't complain about that at all. I think they've really tried hard to really think about what everyone wants. What does everyone want? What motorsport related features does everyone want in the game? They really tried to incorporate it. In many ways, I think Forza should be called Forza Cars, and Project Cars should be called Project Motorsport, because it is more a motorsport game than Forza, and Forza seems to be more of a car game now than it does a racing game. But again, I just prefer to focus on the racing in Forza. But Project Cars 2, it really frustrated me on the first 5 days of playing it, trying to get good settings. This kind of annoys me. I know with a sim game you do have to perfect the settings, I understand that. But with Assetto Corsa and with iRacing, I played it first time without changing anything, and it was just so playable instantly. But with Project Cars 2, it just took me ages, and then first off trying to get them on the wheel, on the controller, getting settings, and I sorted that out and it was okay and it was playable, and then trying to do the same for the wheel as well, so that it was doubly frustrating trying to get settings for both. In the end though, I did have some really good races on there. I think I do have, I'll show you in just a moment actually, a really good race that we did have. It was a good moment actually, having a really close race on Project Cars 2. For me the physics don't feel, I don't know, there's just something about the physics that I don't quite get on with. It just isn't quite as smooth as other simulators, and I think I said it earlier in the video, when I play a simulator I really want the best experience. So when I'm going to get my wheel out, set it all up, it takes a couple of minutes, it takes a few minutes. I don't want to do all that and then have not the best experience. I really just want to have the best experience, so that's why I play Assetto Corsa a bit more than I do Project Cars. But that's not to say Project Cars is a bad game. I think it is a good game. I would like their ambition. I just personally don't quite get on with it the way I would have liked. Another interesting game, yeah, Need for Speed Payback. Wow, the physics. Okay, the physics. I think they're really bang average. I really wanted to like this game. I bought it and it cost me quite a lot of money. Bought the deluxe edition. I really wanted to like the game. I did in many respects. I think the main thing you have to do with Need for Speed Payback is not take it seriously. Just don't think of it as like a really serious game. Think of it as just an arcade mess around, and then you'll enjoy it a lot more. I think. As soon as I did that, I enjoyed the game a lot more. So there's that. The story mode is very repetitive. The cutscenes are all repetitive and dull. The speech, the conversations the people have in the game are just really bad. It's hard to listen to at times. The drifting, I really enjoyed. The drifting events are really fun, but I think the driving events aren't as good because you've got this really weird dynamic in the game where it's faster to drift than it is to drive like just normally without sliding. So it's a really weird dynamic which I don't understand, where drifting is the fastest thing to do. I mean, fair enough if that's how you want the game to be, but then why make grip cars and things, because they're just slower. They're just not as good. So it's a good game in parts. The tuning system, I don't like this whole system of upgrading with cards. I think it was really silly. I think the old system on Need for Speeds where you buy, I don't know, nitrous oxide level 1, level 2, level 3, and then 1 is the worst one, 3 is the best one. How easy is that? But on this one, it's kind of like this weird luck with cards where you get this card and you get certain attributes from that card, and I just did not get on with that at all. Overall, though, the game is good in parts, and as I said, don't take it too seriously, and you can have fun with it. And last but not least, Dirt 4. I think the base physics and the base graphics are good on this game. There's nothing wrong with that. The main issue I have is the overall lack of content. I think we had 5 locations and there's only like auto-generated stages. I didn't really get on with that. I didn't like the idea of that. Even though it's computer-generated each stage, so you can kind of get a random stage every time. So you have a different stage every time. It still felt repetitive. I felt like the same kinds of corners were coming up all the time, even though they were meant to be different. I would much preferred in a rally game. I know that you have the WRC games, which has the official stages, and perhaps Dirt can't get them. But I would rather just have some pre-made stages, which are the same for everyone, and then you have a leaderboard function. The leaderboard functionality I thought was really bad on this game, because you had to go into a stage, complete it, and then you could see the leaderboard. But I'd much rather have like a rivals mode from Forza, so like a time trial mode. You can go on it, see all of the leaderboards, and then you can go, oh, I want to do that track and try and beat this guy. But you couldn't quite do that on this game. The multiplayer as well was really lacking. So I tried to do like the leagues, and like there was barely ever any players on it, and a lot of it I felt was a step down from previous games. So you could do not a single player, like a run for a track against 7 other people, but you couldn't see the other people, and it just felt it felt like single player. It felt like I was setting a lap time on a leaderboard almost. So I was going from the start to the end, and then it would just show me 7 other people's results. We were competing live, but I couldn't really see them, apart from on the little bar on the left. On Dirt 2 and Dirt 3, you could actually see people live. You could see like their ghosts, and it felt a bit more dynamic and live and real, and there was more pressure. And also the lack of like contact races, so like rallycross and buggies and things. I think you could do that if you created your own lobby, but there wasn't a normal hopper or lobby for that from the game itself. Like only if you created your own hopper could you choose those things, which wasn't quite as good on like Dirt 3 and Dirt 2. You could do all those things. I think Dirt 2 and Dirt 3 were the best in that series. Dirt Rally, of course, is really good, but I compared Dirt 4 to Dirt 2 and Dirt 3, and I think it's not quite as good as those 2 games. Another Codemasters game, F1 2017. I haven't played it, so I can't really comment on that. But that pretty much wraps up the games that I've played this year, the big games. PUBG, I've played a bit. I love that game, but it's not really racing related. I don't make videos on it, so there's no point talking about that too much. But we've rambled on long enough. Let's go to some best moments of the year, shall we? So first off, we got to do it. Some big crashes. Let's do some big crashes. First one, let's have a look here. So this is one of the biggest crashes we've had of the year for sure. Like an Audi's just already started going. It's at Monza, of course. Monza's obviously one of the worst tracks for crashes. So off the line we go, pulling away nicely. We're in the Corvette, so in a nice long 12-lap race. It's going to be a long one, so let's keep it calm into turn 1. But as we go in, we just get absolutely mullered. I'm going to get murdered. And I've just flipped over into the wall. You can see on the right-hand side, this was before the big update, so I've got damage. So my life is over, basically. So really good start there. The next example is Monza, once again. You can see here the full GT. This is S-Class, I think. Looks like. We have a Centenario up in front, I think. So off the line we go. Monza once again. One of our favourite crash circuits in the game. McLaren F1 trying to find a way through. Now into the first corner. This is where it all kicks off. Because this guy's going to come flying in. And then he's going to become a launch ramp for that Acura NSX. Who does it. I don't know if you saw that, but he did a massive flip. I'm just kind of getting pushed through. There's a Myers Manx there. That was absolute chaos. And I think about 28 people died. Now the following example was one of my favourite crashes. I'm just going to leave you with the original commentary. Skipping ahead to Brain. He's going to drift sideways, smash into the wall. And this is going to leave him in a precarious position as we come flying around the corner head on. He's going to see some lights coming flat out towards him and he gets smashed. And Jula DT does a twist and pike in the air, triple backflip. I'm looking behind to see him get stuck in the air, and still he bounces back up. He does a mid-air jump, quite miraculously. Brain goes flying through the air, through the stratosphere, and then Jula comes down to land after many years. So please press F to pay Bill Gates. R.I.P. Jula DT. So that was an absolutely brilliant crash. I couldn't stop laughing at that. Another funny one. Johnson and I and JSR Devon, we did a 1-2-3 challenge. So the idea was to start at the back. Let's try and find it here. So the idea was to start at the back and then try and finish first, second and third. But we kind of messed this one up big time. Mainly because Road America is such a narrow track. So here we are with Honda NSX, and move over to the left-hand side, just trying to let everyone go. But then it's just not gonna. It's just gonna kick off because someone didn't move off the line. We kind of blocked off the left-hand side, and yeah, we kind of created all of that. Plus the guy who didn't start. So we're trying to preach about clean racing, and then we go and do that. And then one final example was quite a funny one. Sorry about the potato quality, but here we go. Here it is. So Yas Marina, Noob City. Just check out that BSE mono. Goes for a massive cut and then just comes flying back across. Wipes me out. Yeah, good one, mate. But it wasn't all so bad. It wasn't all that bad because we did have some really good moments. Let's have a look at some funny moments from the year. The first one I want to show you, the double rammer avoidance. Here we go. Okay, so for this one I'm going to leave you with the original commentary once again. Now I'm going to watch out for this yellow RX-7. As we come through here, the double apex. I'm going to come out slightly wide, just tap him. And then I was going to give him the inside room there. But clearly that triggered him so much. And that has not triggered him just to do that, but to do this as well. Coming into the first corner, I anticipated this. And there he goes. I predicted that one coming. So he can go and burn in hell in that corner over there. Now this is one lap later. And I'm getting deja vu here because this guy's just gone off. I think it's a Subaru. And obviously I didn't do anything to him. He was off by the time I got to him. But clearly he's going to take his anger out on me because coming into the first corner once again, we're going to cross the line to go on to lap number 4. And I'm just anticipating something going very wrong here. So I'm going to once again move over to the right hand side. 2 out of 2, baby. That guy can go and join the other guy in burning in hell. 2 textbook dives out of the way there. We're going to come across the line and eventually finish 10th. So that was a really enjoyable double rammer avoidance. I didn't do too many this year compared to last year, somehow. But yeah, that was my favourite one. Some of the best moments of the year came from streaming, and we'll take a look here at the 50 lap endurance of Nürburgring. So that took 8.5 hours. That created lots of good moments. The first of which was this. So I bought a PlayStation 4 during this live stream. It was really unusual. But there we go, yeah. That was probably the best thing I did all year, buy that PlayStation 4. It really helped the channel, playing GT Sport. So that was a good moment. Now, the thing that most people strangely loved, I really can't figure out why, was the pizza eating during the same stream. Let's have a look. So here we are. We arrive home. People donated. I don't know why. I think I just kind of mentioned earlier in the stream, like, I'm hungry. And then people went, oh, have a pizza. And people just donated so much. There it is, the bad boy itself. And, oh my God, when you're getting a pizza for free, it tastes even better. It was a good one. Really pleased to get all those donations, eat a pizza. So, good times. Yeah, thank you for that. I'm living the life right now. I'm getting donations for pizza and I'm playing Forza. And then, of course, we come to the end of the stream. And here we go. Yes, roll over the line. Oh, boys, we've done it. Oh. I'm a broken man. Here's to another 50. So completing that was an amazing moment. I just regret though we couldn't do it online because the game was just so messed up at that point. Another great streaming moment. Norbert Blackcat, thank you for the this big moment here. We'll have a look because we found out the true price of a Tax Johnson's life. Turns out it's only £2. Let's have a look. Oh! Norbert Blackcat has tipped £2. Kill Johnson, kill him. King in the castle, king in the castle. You ask, you get. So that was me killing Johnson. Norbert Blackcat with a £2 donation, and you know, if it comes down to killing your best friend, how much would they have to pay you? For me, it's only £2. So sorry, Johnson, but £2 is worth more than your life. I did the 243 lap endurance at Nürburgring. At Sebring. Got 243 laps at Nürburgring. No thanks. And we finally got there. It took 10.5 hours to do the whole stream, or to do the whole race. 10.5 hours. So that was an absolute chore. That really hurt. But thankfully, I got lots of pizza during. Well, it actually took 8.5 hours. 10.5 hours to do the whole stream. You see my little victory dance there. That was a really good stream. I think about 1,000 people tuned in at the end, and I did a cheeky dab there, as you can see. Oh boy, the prize money was awful, unfortunately, but that was a really good stream. Enjoyed that. There'll be plenty more of those long streams to come. The victory dance has become a thing this year. The victory dance, good old victory dance. I know so many of you love it. It just caught on for, like, I don't know, it's so silly, but then again, the victory, the dance that you do, the little celebration you do on the podium when you win on Forza 7 is kind of silly. So I was kind of taking the piss out of it. And my favourite victory dance is this. So those were some great moments, some funny moments. Really enjoyed some of the humour. I think the humour is something that keeps people coming back for more. At least I hope it is. I think maybe just commentating on the races on their own, it can be interesting, can be exciting, but incorporating a bit of humour in there as well, it just adds another dimension, which I'm happy to do. So let's go to a couple of good races. I'll just show you 3. Maybe, of course, you can just let me know in the description which you think is the best moment of the year. But here are a couple of good races which I thought were really good. So the first one, Project Cars, it was actually in. You're going to hear a bit of the mouse. So let's go into the first corner. Away we go. This is in the Porsche RSR, so a bit of GT3 racing for you. Coming in, it's not going to be too clean, is it? Let's have a look. A couple of people wide. Bit of contact there, not too bad. I'm playing this on the controller actually. But this was a really good race, and I'm not going to show you the whole thing, it'll go on for too long. What I will do though, as this Acura pushes me wide, I'm going to show you the link in the description so you can go and watch it for yourself if you haven't already. But this race turned out to be really good, really enjoyed it. Project cars can bring out close racing. A lot of these people were Forza players who I know, so it kind of crowded over. I think a lot of racing, it depends on who you're with. If you're an idiot who just played the game and like me, just ramming that guy off, it just depends on your mentality really. If you have a mentality for close racing, you can have a close race on any game, and on this occasion we had a couple of good people who knew what they were doing, not myself included, so that was good to see. Budget Cars did produce some good stuff. Probably my best performance of the year, other than maybe at Le Mans, was the Super Trofeo race at Suzuka. This series kind of died for some reason. Well, I know the reason. The reason is because Forza 7 doesn't work online. But this race was one of my best performances, I think. In the end, I finished second, and some of the names in here are really big. A lot of people disconnected. Well, not a lot of them, but one or two of them, and a few crashed. But you know, you just have to stay in the race, not crash. And in the end, I finished second, which I'm really pleased about. Hopefully this season or this series can carry on at some point. But this was one of my favourite races of the year. I think I performed really well. So again, link in the description if you want to go and watch it. I thought it was a really good race, and I really enjoyed being part of that one. But then my third race I'm going to show you, or at least give you the link to, is a race we had against F4H South. Although at the time we were in GTR. This is on Forza 6, so not 7. We did have a really close race recently on Forza 7 around Homestead, Miami. But this one is around Catalonia in S-Class. Let's just click on it here. So it's Catalonia National. We both kind of got away from the grid quite well. Although actually I was on F4H, he was still in GTR at this point. And it was a really good race. The video is called Simply Too Much Respect. Like, we really drove so close and fast to each other, but we gave each other space and respect at all times. So this was probably my favourite race because it was fast, we drove really well, and it was clean at the same time. So that's the best kind of racing, I think, when you're really going flat out. Sometimes it can be too respectful, where you don't really try and you kind of hang back a bit and you don't really try to overtake someone in fear of hitting them or something. But in this case, we weren't afraid to push each other to the limit, try to go for overtakes, and in the end we did still give each other loads of room, and it was a really enjoyable race. I didn't even win it, and I enjoyed it the most. So that kind of shows you really, if you can not win the race or not win the duel that you're in and enjoy it that much, it kind of shows you how good that race is. So I'll leave you with that one. That's in the description once again. But there we go. Wow, we come to the end of the video. I've kind of rambled on. I've said about 4,000 times in this video because I don't really have too much of a plan. I just kind of rambled on. Said it again, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you really enjoyed the videos this year. I'll try to do as much as I can next year, of course. I just hope that some of the amazing experiences I've had this year can be continued into 2018. The main aim for 2018 is to get 100k subs. That's the big one, I think, really. I know you shouldn't really measure always, just keep looking at subs. I don't always look at it, but it's just a great reminder. I think if I can get the play button, it would be a nice physical reminder of the work that put in on YouTube. From February onwards, a lot more streams, a lot more videos, hopefully. So look forward to that. January will be really hard for me, but that's gonna bring a close to this video. Just let me know your thoughts on the year. Doesn't have to be related to me, just whatever you think of anything. Just let me know, or your favourite video, your favourite racing moment, your favourite victory dance, favourite live stream, favourite pizza that I ate, or favourite rammer that I pushed off or something, or favourite time that I got pushed off by a rammer. Anything, let me know, and I shall see you in 2018. So have a good one, guys. have a good new year. You're probably watching this in 2018 anyway already. But yeah, that's the end of the video, guys. The end of the year. I shall see you in 2018. Thank you very much for all the support as always. I shall see you next year. Goodbye.
Listen.